Why no one is playing World of Warcraft? Let's see what Taliesin has to say.
You know,
Okay, that's loud.
we are the hardcore these days. WoW is brilliant right now. Dragonflight is amazing right now. Like, genuinely good expansion. Arguably the best WoW has ever been, in my opinion. Like, it's definitely...
No. Sorry. Hold up. Wait a minute. If World of Warcraft... What? First of all, you didn't say why, but I will wait for you. Maybe you explain why. But it isn't. This isn't the best WoW has ever been. This is hard hopium right there, my friend. Like, what are you even on about? The numbers are down. No one is playing the game. If you go in on Twitch and check out right now, the WoW player base is playing Classic. No, no one is simply playing Dragonflight, but let's hear it out.
up there with the best iterations of WoW. Like, the game is fundamentally very good right now.
Why?
People are enjoying the game in a way that they
How?
haven't since Legion. And, you know, Legion is one of the all-time best expansions, right? People love this shit.
Why? Why is Legion one of the best expansions of all time?
People only have good words to say about Dragonflight, right? Well, mostly, you know. But it's dead. The game's dead. I don't mean dead as in, you know, a dead body, but I mean as in subs are right down.
Dude. Hey, listen, come on. Taliesin. If the game is as good as you say that it is, why is it bloody dead? No. The PvP is imbalanced and hideous. Nobody cares about the raiding because it's a tiny minority that tends to be very vocal about balancing and stuff. The casual content is time-gated behind renown and systems. The story was already destroyed, but okay, you know what? Arguably, this is Shadowlands' fault, okay? Your casual Andy doesn't have what to do. No, the game... No one is playing Dragonflight because the game is garbage. Everybody is doing hardcore challenge in classic World of Warcraft. Do you know what a massive failure it is for the best iteration of World of Warcraft right now to be something that released however many years is it? 18 years ago? 18 years ago! Antur right here was not born back then. And this is sad. What are you even on about? No, give us why. When you say like it's the best iteration, it isn't. Legion was not one of the best iterations of World of Warcraft. No, it wasn't. We didn't have we couldn't choose which legendaries we could get at you know, the first patch. Was it like 7.0 or 6.0? I think it was 7.0, right? You couldn't choose, and if you got to twice the wrong legendary, you had to delete your character and make a new one because the chances of getting the legendary that you want were abysmal. It was, BFA was dog shit, Legion was dog shit, Dragonflight is less of a dog shit, it's a step towards, it's a step towards the right direction, yes, but it remains dog shit. You know, like, I think people just need to quit WoW, which they did, and like, Taliesin is a WoW Andy, right? I mean, he's a WoW content creator. I used to watch him every single video he would make when I was a WoW Andy myself, right? Memes about him being a shill, right? Memes about him. But I don't want to go there. What I want to focus is why everybody quit. Everybody quit because the game is not good. And when people left and went outside and they played FF, they played ESO, they played Guild Wars, they played Lost Ark, they played, I don't know, whatever you want, like any game that they played, right? They saw that World of Warcraft is simply not that good of an MMO. Like, I'm sorry, but current World of Warcraft, is simply not that good of an MMO. The leveling process is boring. It is just a grind there for absolutely no bloody reason. The endgame is all that exists. And you know what? When you put people on a treadmill and you tell them that what you do doesn't matter until you get to that point and now you have to grind, like, you know, 4 sets and so on and so forth, and then in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, all your gear is going to be obsolete. People don't want to do that. People play Classic because there are pieces, for example, the Devil Sword leggings, you know, the Devil Sword set for a rogue, the pre-raid best in slot, okay? But like, if you don't raid, this is a very solid piece of equipment to have. Or like, you would get, I am thinking of back in Wrath of the Lich King, but this might not be the best example, right? How you would use that Death's Verdict or Death's Advance from Talk, Trial of the Crusader, in Icecrown Citadel. So you had the reason to do Talk, right? Common body goes in that. No, it is. Like, let's be honest. Let's not kid ourselves. It is dead. And the only reason why it's dead is because it killed itself. Like, it was murdered by Blizzard.
Views on content is right down.
Yes.
You know, you only have to look at like not just my channel. Like obviously views are way down on my channel, and you know part of that is people not watching videos, but part of that is also that you know I'm.
Let's go to why. Let's go to why people are not watching his videos. Taliesin's videos were interesting. Every single patch he would just like make some memes, he would talk about what he would talk about, you know, he would add like a different perspective. He had Evita, like sometimes they would swap in between, like, you know, he would do those Khadgar intros. It was fun. People don't watch his videos, your videos, Taliesin, because people don't give a fuck about World of Warcraft. It's not you, like, Taliesin as a creator, you may like him as a person or a personality, or you may dislike him, but he was entertaining. He was what I am hoping to be second monitor content. Like my dream in life is to be on your second monitor while you game on your first monitor. That's what I aspire to be, you know? A bit entertaining. Not too much that you just can't do what you want to do to your job, and not too little that, you know, doesn't bore the living shit out of you. But like, people don't watch you and your videos. People don't watch Bell's videos. You know, Michael Bell, Bellula, right? People don't watch like Preacher's game videos overall, but World of Warcraft videos, because people don't give a fuck about World of Warcraft. And Blizzard is to blame. Woe is us alive, shiny hair. True.
I'm not putting out as many videos as I used to, and that has a big effect as well.
Already.
And like, but you look at someone like Preacher's WoW content and Bellilar's WoW content, and views are way down.
Even Mr. GM's views are way down, right? And he practically does WoW content.
Way down. You can see it on Twitch with stream views and stuff, and that's a pretty good sign that people just aren't playing the game right now. And I don't think that's surprising. I don't think it's surprising after Shadowlands. Shadowlands was like
That was the problem. Shadowlands was the final nail in the coffin. Are we gonna see you in Heroic Classic anytime soon? I don't play Classic. Not Heroic, Jesus Christ. Too much Wrath of the Lich King there. I don't play Classic in order to stress. I play Classic in order to relax. I play Classic in order for me to just leave the world. I don't want to like leave the world and think that, oh, I disconnected, now I died. It's, yeah. Oh, I got griefed. Oh, a mob respawned in an awkward location. No, I don't give a crap about that, to be honest. Like, it's not something that I would personally push towards. But you know what Dragonflight did? Like, I'm gonna be honest, because we talk mad shit about Shadowlands, right? Cause this is ignoring. No, I'm not ignoring anyone. But PvP is dead. It's true. Like, PvP is, everything is fucking dead. You know. Let me show you guys what World of Warcraft Dragonflight did. This guy right here, and most of my friend list have been playing World of Warcraft throughout Shadowlands. For example, Aldamor, right? He quit the game. Like, they made Holo quit the game. He's a close friend of mine. Like, they made him quit the game, you know. It's just like, you no longer find it interesting. And Taliesin here is correct in saying that Shadowlands was the final nail in the coffin. That was when they finally destroyed the story, in my opinion. Because what little immersion you had with the world, what little connection you had with your character. Because, listen, okay? You may not be a role player. Most of you are not role players, yes? But when you create your character, you create it for a reason. You know, it's there for a reason. You put this character there to do stuff of content. You're thinking, you know, this character. And when, like, they undermine the story, when they put you on a farming training wheel, and you know how bad Shadowlands was? I thought Zereth Mortis was good. That's how bad Shadowlands was. I was like, no, Zereth Mortis is actually good. And arguably, in comparison to Korthia and the Maw, it was good, it was amazing, right? And then I went and played Final Fantasy XIV. And I did, listen, you may talk shit about FF14, right? But the daily content of FF, like the beast stripes you could get, the crafting dailies you could get, like all those things, you can be done with in 15 minutes with all of it. At maximum, right? At the same time, because you have one character that can have all the jobs, you don't have to do dailies in every single one of your ults, because your main is your ult, who is your main, right? Picture this. How would you feel if your, I don't know, Big Dick 5000 character could be a paladin, and you could, like, respect the character and be a warrior? and respect and be a priest. So your own character, your reputations, everything stays on that character. Or like your reputations is account bound, right? All of these things, all these arbitrary time-gating systems is what made the people be like, you know what, now? So they left the house, they left like World of Warcraft, and they went and they built a new house, and they played a different game, and they saw that, you know, hey, I'm comfy here. So they're not coming back. And the only reason why they come back to WoW Classic, I mean, there are many reasons, right? But one of them is nostalgia. One of them is that people love the old world. People loved the old world. They loved the concept of lack of balance. And they don't give a crap. I play on a PvE realm. I played with a Boomy the other day, bro. Okay, he was a level 60 and he boosted me through Dead Mines. Besides the point, but people don't give a crap. In Dragonflight, what are you gonna do in Dragonflight? You have 3 things to do. Mythic plus PvP and raiding. If you don't do Mythic plus PvP and raiding, what are you gonna do? PvP is dead, right? Look here, Super Skunk 3. I have to renew my game time for 2 weeks. He's PvPer. And 2, Dragonflight is dead. He PvPs. He's Paladin, right? Yeah. Done, gone, reduced, okay? The Mythic Plus, the attributes. Do you know how bad the Mythic Plus is? Have you ever spoken with a victim of abuse? Like, I don't want to like blow it out of proportion, but have you ever spoken with a victim of abuse, right? This is World of Warcraft Mythic Plus system. People actually defend it, and they say that, hey, you know what, no, like Sanguine Affix is good because it changes the way you play the dungeon. Quaking is good because it changes. It doesn't. It doesn't. You have a plethora of dildos on the wall, and you have to choose which 3 of them are gonna fuck you in the ass at the same time. And not in the fun way. That's the problem with the Mythic Plus system, and that's why it's fucking dead. Right? They try to entice people, and then they tell you how to play the game because they had the Radar.io, the third-party website, and where like it would register everything, and now they force people to do the plus 15s or the plus 20s in 2 different difficulties, in Fortified and in Tyrannical, which are like boring. They are like literally stat increases for the mobs and the boss. Like mobs do 20% more damage and have 20% more health. This is boring. You kill everything 20% slower. People gather gear in MMOs to kill stuff faster. You know, say what you will about Cataclysm, all right? But come on, let's be honest here. Did you play a rogue in Cataclysm? Did you maybe get full best in slot or super good gear as a rogue in Cataclysm? And you go into that battleground, okay, in that BG, and you find the poor guy with 98k health, and you have 130 or 160 or something with the priest buff, right? And you cheap shot the guy, right? And you do 2 backstabs and an eviscerate, and he dies. Like you just, boop, gone, reduced. All right. I used to have a combination of attacks that I would use to gank people back in World of Warcraft Cataclysm with my rogue. After I had the super good weapons, the daggers. Not the legendaries, a previous stage. F, F2, 2 and 2. F was premeditation. Oh, right. Yeah. F was premeditation. F2 was shadow step. 2 was ambush, which would benefit from the damage from the shadow step. And then eviscerate, which would benefit from the damage of exposed weakness to the enemy. That was the whole consensus. And it felt good. You want to kill stuff quickly. I remember back in Dragon Soul Heroic, the first boss. The first boss was my favorite boss, you know? You were supposed to spread them. One of them would do X mechanics, and then the other one would do Y mechanics after that. And you know what we ended up doing them? We stuck them, and we killed them in 45 seconds. That's what we did. Because at 50 seconds, they would do like the special mechanic, which if they did, because they did it together, you would Y pretty much, right? So you have like a short timer. That's what people want. There's a Dragonflight controversy. Can I get a TLDR? Dragonflight is dead. Oh, hello, Billy. Yeah, that's a controversy.
The final nail in the coffin for a lot of people. If WoW survives, then 9.1 will go down as the patch that almost killed WoW. And if WoW doesn't survive, 9.1 will go down as the patch that killed WoW.
True.
So, it's tough, man.
Not to be a Paul Zandy. But it's not like that 9.0 was any better to begin with. You had your conduit energies. You could not mount in the mall. You had to be every single day in the mall. You had to do Torgas twice a week. No, people were just done. People were like, no, screw you guys. I'm going home. And they went. They found a different home and they went there.
It's really tough. And, you know, and it's frustrating because
9.1 is Shadowlands content, Billy, not Dragonflight. 10.1 is the current patch.
Game is so good. Like, in a way, it would kind of be easier if the game was bad right now. If the game was terrible, that would be brilliant. To the extent where I'm like, I feel like, you know, even if views are really down, and even if, like, you know, people playing the game is really down, at the end of the day, and I've always said this, I would rather a smaller player base but a good game than a big player base but a bad game.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm a content creator and I make my living out of it, but also, before any of that, I'm a fan of the game and I'm a player. I'm a gamer, right? So I'd much rather a better game. And if that means that our videos get less views, well, obviously I'd like them to have more views. I'd like WoW content across them. Because, like, I look at our videos sometimes, I look at the views that they get, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's a bit disappointing. And then I look at other channels, and, like, it's all comparable. You know, everyone's getting those kind of views. You know, views that you'd expect in like the pomp of BFA, videos that you'd expect to get 250,000 views even. You know, they're getting, like, 80, 90,000 views. You're kind of lucky if they break 100.
You see how, like, let's be honest, okay? He says that it's not about the views. The views affect you as a creator. He has been affected. He speaks about this. He says his livelihood depending on it because it is, right? He brought a child into this world. Well, his wife did, but he contributed. Like, come on. Like, okay. Anyway, besides the point, right? The situation is, and where he's going with it, like, you can see this person is warring, all right? But if World of Warcraft is as good as you say, Taliesin, why do you not give me an argument? Why is everything so low? Right? People say that, hey, you know what, 10.1 is good. Where? I don't see that. The Paladin rework was supposed to be amazing, and then they changed everything again, and they gave them 2 stacks. They made it boring pretty much, right? No.
And that's the same across all creators, across the board. With the exception of, like, very specific few, right? Like, an Asmongold video is still always going to get, like, 400,000.
Asmongold is Asmongold, okay? Like, Asmongold is a category by himself. Like, he's weird here, he's woo! Okay, like, Asmongold is a fucking god, yeah.
Views. It is what it is, right? And, like, please, I'm not complaining. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And I feel good. I prefer making content now. It's much more satisfying making content now than in Shadowlands, for sure.
Yes, when you love the content that you're doing, it's definitely better than doing, even if the game is not doing that well, even if the content is not doing that well because of the game, right? When you do the content that you want to do, you always feel happy doing it, right? Even if it doesn't do so good, but nobody wants to play or create content for a game talking about how bad the game they're creating, you know, they do the content for is, right? However, because I need to point this out, okay? Dragonflight, hold up, WoW, DF, dungeons. Let's see which are the dungeons, okay? Right here, no good offensive. I didn't like it at all, personally, right? These are like opinions. Azure Vault was, I didn't like it at all either. Agathar's Academy, I didn't enjoy. Ruby Lifespool was cool. Ultimate was a revamp pretty much, and then they had like some new bosses, but the ground was already there, like to work on top of, right? Neltharus was boring. Halls of Infusion is like halls of whatever. It's like another Titan facility. It has been done before. And Brackentyte Hollow can go suck a cock. Like, there has not been a single good dungeon. Say what you will about Shadowlands. Shadowlands had, let's see, which dungeon did I really love in Shadowlands? WoW SL dungeons. I love Theater of Pain, for example, right? Let's see, where, come on, like, I want a list. Can we, like, have a list, maybe? I love Theater of Pain, right? Here they are. Plaguefall, I loved it. Mist, I loved it. Halls of Atonement, I adored it. Like, Mist and Halls, I adored. I like this one. I loved Plaguefall. This one could go suck a dick. I hated this one. Spires of Ascension were like, I couldn't get like a good group enough like for the last boss and stuff, right? But it had better dungeons. Dragonflight dungeons are all forgettable or hideous, okay? BFA dungeons, okay? Freehold. Everybody loved Freehold. Personally, I loved Toldagor as well. Ataldazar was amazing to play. It was really fun, especially the last ones could get hideous, right? I think that Dragonflight is not as good as people say. It just, Dragonflight is not dog shit. And because the WoW player base has been used to having dog shit for so long, given not dog shit means that it is good. But that's not how it works, okay?
Sure. Do you think it's because we're in post-pandemic now? No, I think it's because Shadowlands really, really wore people out. For whatever reason, and most of them were good reasons. There was like, with 9.1, there was the perfect fucking storm of shit, you know? You had like so many things come together. It was the second, for a lot of the player base, it was the second disappointing expansion in a row.
Yes.
It was the longest wait we'd ever had from an opening patch to a major other patch.
9.1 came
we waited
late.
almost, like, I think it was 8 months in the end for 9.1. 8 months. Yep. Like, obscene. Crazy. Like, no content. And, you know, I believe that 9.0 was a pretty good patch, to be honest. But no opening patch is 8 months good. Just can't do it.
Brother, 9.0 was not a good patch. It had the Maw in it. It had the first iteration of Torghast in it. Right? Right? Can we, like, I don't understand one thing, right? Because sometimes getting legendary powers, for example, if you were a shaman, you were fucked. You had to get it, like, in the 4th week, right? Your best is not legendary, so, like, you had to wait 4 weeks after the launch. And one thing, like, I don't understand. Yes, 8 months for a major patch. Like, that's not the bad part. That's not the bad part. If the current content was good, it would have been acceptable. People would just find a way to make memes, like, you know, Final Fantasy XIV in the chair, okay? But it wasn't good. It wasn't good. You, for example, if you did PvP, like, you had to go get your powers from doing PvE, from doing Mythic Plus, from doing whatever. Then you had to get gold because PvPers never got gold back then, right? So you had to go get some gold in order to be able to craft the legendary system, the legendary item that you needed. You had to do Torghast, you had to do Maws to put the sockets because you needed the extra movement speed that you would get via the sockets, which were actually fairly broken in PvP in retrospect, right? So what I'm going with here is no! People that say that 9.0 was a good patch did not play 9.0. People that say that Castle Nathria was a good raid did not do it before the nerfs or before the fixes. The second to last boss in Castle Nathria did not work. Stone Legion generals had mobs teleporting through the ground. They would spawn a mob right here, okay, right? It would go through the ground, the mob would disappear, and randomly, a few seconds or minutes sometimes, he would appear, get you bitch, and he would kill a random DPS, and then he would disappear again. Like, the mob would clip through the floor and fall into the void, right? It didn't work. 9.0 did not work. Okay? Stop saying it was good. The dungeons were fine. Okay? But don't say it was good. We that did that. I did Mythic. I progressed Stone Legion Generals. I wore out. I quit. I got to 65 kilograms. I almost fucking died, you know, full of stress. Real life Endgame, right? And the game didn't work. It didn't work. Do you know how it is to do more for the 4th time every single day? Because you have like 4 rolls. Because you wanna play the game. That's the problem. Because you wanna play the game. The game punishes you for wanting to play a game. Whenever has this happened with another game? Big punished for wanting to play a game. Because in WoW Classic, you don't get punished if you want to play a game. Well, you did with the world buffs. But how easy was it to fix it? How easy was it to fix it? All they did was give the shit that you store the world buffs, right? No, I won't have it. Don't praise 9.0. Don't praise 8.0. They both suck dick. And you know what? 7.0? It sucked dick as well. But at least it had some cool dungeons as well. Like, you gotta say this. Like, the Legion zones were amazing. Like, they were really interesting.
And that's even forgetting all of the other problems that Shadowlands had. Exactly. But You know, just the biggest thing was 8 months. It took 8 months. And people were getting edgy. People were getting annoyed. People were like, there was nothing to talk about except the things that annoyed them. You know, because after 8 months, you've done everything that you enjoy. The only thing left to talk about is stuff that annoys you and stuff that you don't like. Shadowlands suffered the WoD fate. Correct. Too much time with too little content. It was worse than WoD in that respect, honestly. 10.1 is coming out 100 days sooner than 9.1 did, and it's had 2 patches in between, both of which were better than 9.05. Like, both of which were way more substantial than 9.05.
Yet, neither of them were played. People don't care about Dragonflight. That's the reality of it. And I cannot see, like, nobody's giving me an argument why they would care, right?
And 10.1 is still coming out 100 days before 9.1 did in the grand scheme of things. Exactly. So there was this. The huge wait was a massive big deal. And the fact that people didn't like the concept of Shadowlands. It was a pretty oppressive concept in many ways. It didn't feel like an open world to explore. It felt like a collection of theme park things, which would have been fine.
It was dog shit. It was dog shit. That's what he's trying to say. For all those years, since 2004, the player base have been playing, in general, in Azeroth. Yeah, I get it. Burning Crusade was in Outland, which was meant to be released with the game back in Vanilla. Besides the point, okay? Like, I don't want to digress there, okay? Vanilla was in Azeroth. Wrath of the Lich King was in Azeroth. Cataclysm was in Azeroth. Mists of Pandaria was in Azeroth. Warlords of Draenor was not in Azeroth. Hey, you know what? Was dog shit though. Okay, let's keep going. Legion was in Azeroth, except for Argus, okay, like the last patch where we like fucked off, right? Even BFA was in Azeroth. Your character was in Azeroth. Who would have guessed that if you undermine the world that people have put all this energy and all those characters into because you were leveling up on Azeroth, because the main character of World of Warcraft, according to Chris Metzen, back then at least, was Azeroth, that people would quit the game. Like, you don't have to be a genius, okay? Listen, and please, if you're a WoW developer, if you're a game developer, don't try to create good writing. If you were a good writer, you would be writing a book, okay? If you were a good writer, like, I don't know, like Tolkien, for example, you would be a writer, you would be writing stuff. You would not need a game to tell your story. Keep it simple. The whole ordeal of a random bitch going to kill the Lich King because of stuff that transpired that were not in the game, never explained, and the sky breaks and now you go into this other place which is like the afterlife, but it's not really the afterlife because like you can die in the afterlife, but like if you die in the first life you go into the afterlife, but if you die in the afterlife you become anima. What? Right? Why is there like, by this sense, why is there like not an afterlife? Like you die here, you go there, you die there, you go to another place, you know? Like you undermine. Do you know how bad it was? World of Warcraft, when they started World of Warcraft, the main selling point was no loading screens. You know, how beautiful is that? You could go from Red Ridge Mountains down to Duskwood, and then keep on going, go through the bloody, you know, the Karazhan area, okay? Die to the high-level mobs, inevitably make it to the Swamp of Sorrows, die repeatedly because there are many, and without a single loading screen. And then Shadowlands came, and it was just Bastion, okay? Ravendreth, Maldraxxus, and the Furries. And the more, you know? The more has sucked the soul out of me. And all of us.
If you didn't have 8 months to do it.
Wetlands Deathmatch 2.
And so you had that. And then in the meantime, you had like the explosion in popularity of Final Fantasy XIV, which was definitely obviously linked to people being disappointed in Shadowlands and running out of things to do in Shadowlands.
Video games have a good medium for telling unique stories that couldn't be told through any other medium, to be fair. True! Because they have the visual support, because they have the sound. It's like a movie, but you play the protagonist, alright? Cool. The problem is that normally good writers don't tend to write for games like World of Warcraft, alright? That's the situation, okay? Take Final Fantasy XIV, for example, okay? The story is phenomenal, yes. But it is simple. You are dog shit, and then you become the hero. 0 to hero. The whole consensus is simple. Easy for someone to follow through. You're a clown, you're less of a clown, much less of a clown, a whole lot less of a clown, not a clown. Like, that's how you progress, okay? In World of Warcraft, the power scale was from a simple adventure, woo, right? Adventurer, champion that killed the Lich King, champion that killed Deathwing, commander in Mists of Pandaria, commander in Warlords of Draenor, and then everything changed. Now you're the chosen one. You're like the champion of Azeroth in BFA, right? And then you kill Megadeth. Not the band. The band is cool, okay? Like, you kill Megadeth, Super Giga Chat Death. In Shadowlands. Yeah, WoW didn't need a big narrative to weave the story. It thrived more on casual world building. Yes, because it was more sandboxy, right? You should be a nobody. Why do people go back to play Wrath of the Lich King and Vanilla Classic? Because people want an adventure. People do not want the destination. They want the journey. Guess what happens in Final Fantasy XIV? People do the MSQ, and let's face it, most of them quit. And they come back the next patch, they do the MSQ, and then they quit. People want the journey. That's why we do what we do. That's what we enjoy, okay? That's how we work. That's how humans work. The majority, at least. And don't take my word for it. Take what society does. Games, new patch is out, player base spikes up. New patch is now old, player base goes down. Simple.
And then you had the scandal, which was fucking horrible, and I think just destroyed a lot of people's enthusiasm for Blizzard anything.
People wouldn't give a fuck about the scandal if the game was good. Free Hong Kong happened, okay? Other scandals have happened with Blizzard in the past, like layouts, closing like the... Where did they close it? Was it France that they closed their headquarters, right? People don't care about scandals if the game is good. Let's be like, listen. You that are watching this video, you're a minority. Most people don't even know about the scandal. Most people are like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I don't like this thing, dude. Like, I don't like, what is this dragon shit, man? I don't want to like fly a dragon. I don't like that. And they quit, okay? They quit. Whoa, like, it's a minority of people that will just sit around, watch videos, learn about the game by reading guides, by watching video guides, and so on and so forth.
Rightfully so.
People didn't care about the scandals.
To be honest. You know, like, a lot of people were just suddenly like, well, I feel absolutely horrible about doing anything to do with this company. And unlike in previous times when they've also done disgusting stuff,
there we go.
This time I'm really not having that much fun in the game. And so it's actually incredibly easy to not play the game right now. It's actually incredibly easy to make a very easy moral decision on this. You know, because it's not like, you know, WoW, Blizzard have always been shitty. Blizzard have always been a terrible company, and Activision as well. But there's always that thing of like, yeah, but I enjoy the game. And so for a lot of people, it suddenly became an incredibly easy decision to just be like, nah. And that's not even the end. That's not even the end of the ingredients in our perfect shitstorm, right? Because then, when 9.1 did come out, I mean, let's be honest, it's shit. And that's not to actually disparage the content in...
I can't say how shit 9.1 was because I didn't play it. I was busy quitting at 9.0. Like, I played so long of 9.0 that I quit before 9.1 came. And then 9.1, I watched the trailer, right? And I watched the chains pulling Korthia. Yeah, I live in 9.1. Kimika, I left in 9.0. Like, I watched the trailer because I was about like to resub. Like, I'm like, okay, new patch, let's see what we got. I saw the chains pulling another place in the morning. I was like, I'm gone. You know, like, we ain't doing that. Okay, yeah. But like, it wasn't just that. Like, 9. The last patch was dog shit as well. Zereth Mortis, like, the selling point of the zone was walking on water. It was, shamans had a spell for that ever since vanilla.
9.1 because some people enjoyed it, some people didn't, whatever. The problem with 9.1, apart from the massively long wait for it, was that it was set in the Maw. We just spent 8 months grinding the Maw, and then 9.1 was set in the Maw. So people who had waited vigilantly for the new patch, it was like so hard to get excited about Korthia. And people who had stopped playing, which was a lot of people, were just like, why the fuck would I come back for more of this? Why would I come back for more? That looks exactly like the game I left.
That's me.
Like, they saw trailers and stuff for 9.1, and they were like, that looks like the game I decided to stop playing. Why? Like, that's not going to bring me back, is it? And it was so sad. And we had a Maw-themed raid. The new world content was invasions in the Maw. The new zone was part of the Maw.
Yep. Like, people were like, you know what we were doing? You know, we were in that zone, the beautiful area in La Noscia, how you call it, you know, Morabi Dockwork, not the Morabi area, the other one, right? The one with that reminds of Hawaii a little bit, right? So we were just like lying around there, sunbathing, you know, surrounded by that Lalafell weirdo person that had a lot of like servants and stuff. Limsa listening to bards, ERPing with, you know, extreme rate progression with other cut girls or whatever, right? And then you watch this and you're like, I'm good. I'm good here. Like, I don't think I'm coming back.
It was a new part of the Maw. New world bosses in the Maw.
Yep.
And it was just like, holy
Dailies
shit.
in the Maw.
Look, I was absolutely fine with not being able to mount in the Maw at the beginning of the expansion, honestly.
I wasn't. If I wanted to not be able to mount, I would play WoW Classic. You know? I'd play a rogue. I got a sprint once every 5 minutes. And you bet your ass I'ma use it once every 5 minutes. Do you know how the Maw felt? As a fucking decay? Do you know? You don't know. Death's Advance, 45-second cooldown. Red Walk, 1 minute cooldown. Okay? Do you know what walking simulator is? Bro, I'm getting puffy. Like, it's getting hot in here, okay? Like, I'm getting a heart attack right now. My blood pressure is rising. Do you know how hideous it is to do the Maw on a Shadow Priest? Do you? You don't, right? Yeah.
Whatever, man. But, I mean, you know, if 9.1 had come 100 days sooner and we'd been allowed to mount in the Maw, would not have been an issue.
Yes, but if my grandma had a fucking wheel, she would be a bicycle. Okay, so like it's not a what if. The Maw should have never existed as a zone. You spend so much time leveling through the other zones in order for you to spend the end time on a zone where you cannot spend the end time because you cannot be there for prolonged periods of time because of the Eye of the Jailer. We're being acted like, bro, it's a cock and ball torture. It's a cock and ball torture. Some people like it, and those people kept playing Shadowlands, arguably, right? And some people do not.
And this is the problem, right? So not only do you get bored of a patch if it's open for 8 months, but the obvious things that can be changed to improve it don't happen if no patches happen, right? So yeah, we got to mount in the Maw in 9.1, and if 9.1 had come at a decent time, that would have been fine. It didn't, did it? Am I the only one who thought Korthia was quite different from the Maw? Yeah, it was different enough, but it was still attached to the Maw. It still sent you into the Maw an awful lot. Like, the main thrust of the gameplay in 9.1 was still centered around the Maw. When you opened up the map, you saw the Maw. It was just more, and it was slightly different aesthetic to the Maw, but it was still there. It still felt like.
I have some really good Raki from Crete, right? It's like Tipuro, like Uzo, but you know, stronger, like a local product from Crete, okay? If I would do a drinking game every single time he said Maw in this video, I would be dead by now.
Like the Maw. And the raid was in the Maw, and the raid was Maw themed, and like it was just very much more. But you are right. You know, like Korthia as a zone, I didn't mind like on its own terms. Like in isolation, Korthia wasn't so bad, but it didn't exist in isolation. It existed in the context of a patch, and when it exists in the context of the patch, all of that context is important. Like how long did we wait for it? Like what did it What did it replace? What was this the new content afterwards? You know, how long did we have to wait in 9.1 before more content came around? And that was too long a wait as well. So we waited too long for 9.1, and 9.1 lasted too long too, because everything lasted too long in Shadowlands because the patch cadence was terrible. So all of these things combined meant that, I mean, if you had a friend that stopped playing WoW in Shadowlands, chances are it was in 9.1.
Yes.
Chances are it was 9.1.
Yes, but like, why is no one playing in Dragonflight? I can talk about shit about regarding Shadowlands all day, right? But you didn't give me one reason why Dragonflight is good right now. Because people bought Dragonflight. People tried Dragonflight. And people quit Dragonflight after 1 or 2 months into the game. That's what they did. If it is such a good expansion, why the fuck is nobody playing it? Listen, I don't want to be that guy. Because I enjoyed the good part of Dragonflight. I will say exactly what I enjoyed, right? Because Taliesin, I've been waiting like for 9 minutes and 51 seconds for him to tell me, like, and he hasn't given me a single argument of why Dragonflight is good, okay? If it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, maybe it's just a fucking duck. Maybe it's not a velociraptor that is using a program to create an artificial duck. Maybe it's just a fucking duck, right? I enjoyed Dragonflight because of the silly goofy secondary quest lines. The MSQ was kinda boring, but like, it was what World of Warcraft did. Okay, I did not mind that. You have a big ass motherfucking evil dragon that has his side of the story, and you will go murder him. Okay, good. That's kind of what we did with Onyxia. Now, I bet Onyxia was much better, but it doesn't matter. It was a good consensus, right? When though, listen, okay? This is a tree, and this is scraps. The baby knoll that we found with the Tuskar, okay? When I do the quest line with the Tuskar, and I have to wait for a whole week in order to be able to gain renown, because the questline ends with the baby knoll all alone next to a fucking tree. It doesn't make logical or any type of sense for the player to abandon a baby knoll next to a fucking tree for a fucking week. So the casual player base that wanted to do the story and finish the story were gatekept behind their renown system. So they were being given this hot and cold shower. Whoa, look at all this amazing thing you're gonna be unlocking next week, so stay subscribed, right? So people just had too much. The PvP was broken and imbalanced and shit. They dumbed down a lot of classes, they made it easier to play. The talents were not unique whatsoever, but it was, oh look, we're gonna be a new... No, it was a dumbed down version of what you already had, you fucking fucker. Right? The raid was, do you know how bad Dragonflight was? I didn't do the raid. I was getting ahead of the curve ever since like back in when did I not miss a single ahead of the curve? I think it was like since Archimond, because I missed Black Hand, even though I had done I did Throne of Thunder ahead of the curve. I did like Siege of Orgrimmar ahead of the curve. I skipped Black Hand and High Mole, right? And then I came back in the end of Worlds of Draenor and I did Archimond ahead of the curve. Ever since that, every single patch ahead of the curve, or Cutting Edge, or either ahead of the curve or Cutting Edge, one of the two, right? So it was like heroic, mythic, blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. And then I get ahead of the curve Sire Denathrius, which was cool. Okay, like the only good thing that came out of Shadowlands was this character. And I quit. And I was thinking of coming back for 9.1 just to buy a boost for Sylvanas for the ahead of the curve, and I didn't. And then I saw Zoval, so that didn't go well. And I was just done. I was like, why would I wait for a month for LFR to be out? Because I clearly couldn't give a fuck doing the story, like doing the heroic version of the game. Why would I wait for a month to learn about the story? How would you feel if you are a 14 Andy? Or a 14 player, and they gave you all the access to all the game up until Endsinger. And they told you that you can do Endsinger in 2 months. How would you feel about this? Or like only you could do Endsinger only on extreme, right? How would you feel about this? Would you not feel like you just got fucked in the ass? So I didn't do that. I tried the dungeons in Mythic difficulty. I did a few Mythic Plus, then I saw how buggy they were because like some mobs would just reset the aggro. Like it was, oh my god, nobody spoke about these bugs. It wasn't good. It was just not shit. Time getting Beast Tribe reputation grind to get through Ultima Full. Yes, but hear me out. The time get it its zone in Thule unlocking after 2 weeks. Hear me out though, Billy. Oh yeah, like you say how bad it is, right? I was thinking of the reformation of the Ultima Thule, okay? I'm doing the elephants, the Beast Tribe right now, yes? Every single time I have to like, pause and do the daily grind for 1 or 2 weeks for the new story to be unlocked. It makes sense. It has a point in the story where it makes sense to temporarily pause, right? Like if you have to, for example, I don't know, like you invest in gold, right? You can't have all the profits tomorrow. You have to wait, but the story would end with you investing in gold, right? At no point, though, does it make sense for you to leave a baby fucking knoll next to a fucking tree until 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. It just doesn't make sense. Would you, in good consciousness, in good faith, or even in bad faith, leave a puppy outside next to the fucking tree in order to feed it 1 week later? What the fuck? That's what I'm saying.
And the issue is the pacing, but also, with that in mind, it's impossible to look back at 9.1 and not conclude that with everything else being equal, we can't pretend that it wasn't a shorter patch. It wasn't. In hindsight.
And because I saw this comment on the chat, no, you cannot complete it and then just stop playing. It's gated behind renown. If you want to learn what happened in the end of the story without checking out Warhead or whatever, you have to stay subscribed for months not because you just do it done, because of time-gated content. Renown. You don't have enough renown. Okay? So no, that's just false. That what you were said there is just false. It's, how do you put this delicately? Bullshit. Bullshit with the shit on top of the bullshit. That's what it is. Yeah, I hear they don't have things locked behind reputation now in WoW. Maybe they changed it in 9.1, right? So they put it behind renown again. Yes, they didn't put the character progression behind renown, but they put the story progression. So if you're not a Mythic Plus player, if you're not a PvP player, if you're not a raider, suck my dick. That's it. That's like the outcome. We're like in Final Fantasy XIV. If you don't do PvP, if you're not a raider, we don't have Mythic. Maybe we have like the new hardcore dungeon, whatever. You have your islands. You can do your islands, the island expeditions, in the good expeditions. The 14 expeditions. You have your player housing. You have your beast tribes that you can do if you want, right? You can compose and play a song as the Bard class. You can go to Limsa and just watch people socializing those silly, goofy emotes, right? While listening to music that other players do. This is what is being kept alive. Do you know who keeps the game alive? The fucking role players. Yes, they are a minority. But the role players, dude, will keep on playing forever. All you have to do is not fuck the lore in the ass. What did Shadowlands do? They fucked the lore in the ass. What did Dragonflight do? They tried to fix it, but a bit too late for that. I like collecting Mogs in 14. Looks better in 14 in my opinion. I like collecting Mogs in World of Warcraft more. What I don't like is how dungeons you can get dungeon Mog you can get every day on Heroic. Or you can spam it on normal and get it. But for some reason, you can't do Ulduar for a second time in a week. Who gives a fuck? Why is it time gated? Why is the transmog farming? If you want to do Ulduar, for 7 fucking days without sleeping and then dying, you should have the right to do so. It's not a current patch. There is no way for it. There is no reason for it to be time-gated behind the weekly lockout. Kinda like what they do in 14 right now with Crystal Tower. The old race still weekly gated? Well, yes. What do you fucking mean, be like? They never stop being time-gated. That's WoW, right? That's WoW. If you get your loot in Antorus normal, you cannot re-get loot in Antorus normal. You got your loot from Antorus normal, and you will never get loot from Antorus normal until the next fucking week. Who the fuck does Antorus normal? Yeah, not a good thing. Ross Skinner shit, bug shit. Of course, not a fan of how gear looks in what does. To be honest, appearances are for the individual person. I'm talking about the collectivity part, Livana. How you can collect it and you have it, like, you know, in the collections tab. That's the part I liked about World of Warcraft. How you got it and you hear it from the ATT, all the things, you know, the add-on being like, and hey, we got a new item, you know? Like, that's what I'm digressing. I'm not digressing, sorry. I'm arguing and I'm addressing, right? I'm not talking about the gear itself, because I will be honest, I think the best gear that we have ever gotten was probably around Wrath of the Lich King and or Legion. That's probably around that time. How many attempts in Tempest Kit and ICC? First of all, thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate that, Kimika. Thank you. Tempest Kick, I didn't raid back in Outland. I never loved it. I hated it. I didn't play in BC, and I wasn't encouraged by the game to play in BC because I don't like alien shit. It could never, like, space travel and stuff. They don't appeal to me. Okay, but ICC, I don't remember. I will go and say it. I think ICC was not a hard raid. Phoenix Mount. Oh, Phoenix Mount. I don't know. I don't think do I have Ashes of Alar? I don't even think. I don't know if I have it. I don't have Invincible. And I have. I got Shadowmourne 3 times, right? But I don't have Invincible. So I don't know. I would do ICC because I like the raid. Like, even after it was current content, I would just do it. Character after character, because I like the raid. It was such a beautiful, it's such an iconic raid. This is when the WoW should have ended, to be honest, and like we should have gotten a new like MMO, kind of like 11 and 14, you know, like where you get like a new MMO. I think that was the first turning point that they could have done, or the second turning point was at the end of Legion. I think that at the end of Legion, WoW should have ended, like period, fin, done, gone, and then you get like a new MMO, a more modern MMO, because right now it's just spaghetti code, right? It's for scarcity regarding mounts and legendaries, right? I don't know what it is, Billy. I don't know what they have in their fucking mount. You know, I like it just in their mind, like it's stupid. It's stupid. The systems in World of Warcraft, they just don't make sense.
It was a huge mistake to base it in the Maw. A really, really big mistake to base that patch, which we waited 8 months for, around the aesthetic of the Maw and the location of the Maw. And like all the armor sets were like Maw themed, and there's just a lot, wasn't there? And what that does is it aggravates all of the other niggly little problems that people have with it. So every problem becomes a huge thing at that point.
Kinda like the game not working. Now that is a problem. That is small or big doesn't matter, but like the game didn't work. So there you go. There you have like one problem. Like the bosses were bugged. So yeah, that kind of tends to do stuff, right? It kind of tends to wear you down a bit.
Because people are just frustrated and annoyed, and, you know, with the scandal as well, which, you know, a very, very good reason to not want to play WoW, frankly. The explosion of a game like Final Fantasy XIV, and Final Fantasy XIV, absolute banger game, yes. And a lot of people started playing that game, and they'd gone from waiting 8 months for not very much in WoW, to having 7 years worth of Final Fantasy XIV to play. You know? They went from like waiting ages for new content in WoW, and when it came, it was a bit like the old content, which they didn't really like. And they went from that to having 7 years worth of game to play. And that feels amazing, right?
Not just that, you know what also feels amazing? Do you know how refreshing it was to have no RNG to get your gear? Do you know how happy I was when I finished ARR and I got full tombstone gear for all of my specs? I was just so happy. It was so nice because I could use it and I would bitch slap everything in Heaven's Court up until level 65 or something, right? And then I would do the same. Not 65, sorry, 55. And then I would do the same and I would bitch slap everything in Stormblood up until level 65. And then 75 with Shadowbringers. And then 85, 86 with Endwalker, right? And it felt so good. It is such a relief. How many of you would just go out there and like try, or you know how you can buy like old world gear from World of Warcraft that used to cost like emblems or justice points with gold, right? So you can buy your full ICC tier set for free, like pretty much with gold only from Dalaran, okay? How amazing would it be that the moment you ding level 30, you go on and you pow, you just get the gear, okay? And now for the next 10 levels, you are God, okay? You know what they did? They disabled the legacy tier sets. Why? Why did they disable the legacy tier sets? Why did they feel the need to go back to do that? Why? It doesn't make sense. The thing I hate is PTR test it yourself, then give me a product. No. Like, you should pray for them to listen to the PTR. They don't listen to the PTR. PTR is there just to be there, just for the hype. And it's like to win the end game, you can plan your gearing to get exact date, you will be full best in slot, and even having shit like in chess. Exactly. Deterministic. I don't know why World of Warcraft is not banned in the Netherlands because of all the fucking gamba, right? You got a chest. Aha! Congratulations. Does it have a socket? No. Did it Titan Forge? No. But back in Shadowlands, right? No. Does it have speed? No. Avoidance? Why? Why?
And you're like, shit. Like, everyone was like, there's so much content in Final Fantasy XIV. It's like, yeah, you've got 7 years worth of game that you haven't played. Of course there's loads. What do you, like, if you haven't played WoW before, there's loads of WoW.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like, 14's a great game. And I'm really, really glad that, oh yeah, like, let's be real. If you watch all the cutscenes in MSQ to the end of Shadowbringers, not even Endwalker, you watch over 80 hours of cutscene just by playing through to the end of Shadowbringers. 80 hours of cutscene. Yeah, there's a lot to get through in Final Fantasy XIV. Last I played was before Christmas. But yeah, and I'm right. Like, I think it's fantastic that people love that game. It was a shame that people felt the need to pit the games up against each other.
Wait, that's a very good comment. There is loads of WoW, but you are disincentivized to do old WoW. No. You happen to be correctly incorrect. Allow me to elaborate, Billy. If you start with a new account right now, you have to do the leveling experience of BFA. You cannot do any of the Chromie quest lines. So to the newbie, you cannot do loads of. It's not that you're just disincentivized. You cannot. You're actively forbidden. You do not have the access to the old world content. Wait, yes. See, that's the beauty of Blizzard. That's the beauty of Blizzard, fellas. That made a bit sense of Shadowlands. No, listen. The beauty of Blizzard, okay, is that you think you know how shit it is, but it's much worse. Hear me out. If you want to level up your character right now as a newbie, as a new account, you have to do Exile's Reach, and after Exile's Reach, you receive the message from the War Chief or from the King, and you go on and do the BFA questline. Last I checked, even though Shadowlands is over, the War Chief quest was from Sylvanas Windrunner. And the King's quest was from Anduin Rin. Last I checked. This might have changed in the latest patch of Dragonflight. You can have your own conclusions. You do not know Westfall Duskwood. You can never. You probably never find them out because you quit all. While you're doing Nazmir. Because why would you do Nazmir? It's fucking ugly. I thought that I've got rid of it as soon as Dragonflight dropped. This conversation makes me want to play Wrath of the Lich King. Or Vanilla Classic. That's cool as well. Because let's not forget, Billy, right now in Wrath of the Lich King, there is no RDF. You cannot you have to walk through the instances, but at the same time the leveling is so fast that people don't really do the instances. That's my problem, you know? Why do we not have RDF in Wrath of the Lich King Classic? When are you gonna do Morodon in Wrath of the Lich King Classic?
And more importantly...
Sorry, that was a misclick. When are you gonna do Wailing Caverns? Okay, maybe you can do Wailing Caverns, actually. They're really close to the fucking area. In Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Let me think of another one. Atal Hakar! When are you gonna do the Temple of Atal Hakar in Wrath Classic? Never! It's not practical to get there. But what if you wanna do it? Hey, fuck you, nobody's gonna join you, because you're a minority, right? I want to play a game that you already maybe played 10 years ago because it was the journey, not the destination. It's the nostalgia, okay? What did you enjoy doing 10 years? I don't know, I'm gonna bring out the most stupid example that came to my mind. 10 years ago, you liked, I don't know, cherry juice. And now you're still drinking cherry juice because you like cherry juice. It just it happens, you know? 10 years ago, you would like a ribeye steak. Now you would like a ribeye steak. It doesn't, time doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot enjoy something from the past, right? The bad thing, and the one that blows my mind is, how is it possible that the biggest success of your game is something that you did 18 years ago, as of recent? That's what I don't understand. How can you be such a loser? Okay? That's the situation. And I gotta hand it to Taliesin. Throughout Shadowlands, bro, this guy grinded through Shadowlands. This guy kept positive, right? That's why they called him a shield. But he kept it positive. He tried to... Everybody was talking mad shit about WoW. And I'll be honest, if you created content in Shadowlands for World of Warcraft, I can understand why that could take a toll on your mental health. This guy kept being positive, right? In the end, what happened? The game just fucking died. How? They murdered it.
The communities decided to pit themselves against each other. I feel like that was really, really sad. I feel like no true Final Fantasy XIV player really wanted that. Because, it always annoyed me when WoW players would shit on Final Fantasy XIV. And it annoyed me when 14 used to shit on WoW as well. I just don't like it. And in fairness... And this was all stoked by ex-WoW players in the Final Fantasy XIV community as well, by the way. This is not old-school Final Fantasy XIV community doing this. But it got a little bit deranged at points. The hate that ex-WoW players were...
I don't understand why people have the need to hate on another MMO, and how they don't understand that the more good MMOs we have out there, the better it is for us. For you right now. For you specifically, it is... very good, it is preferable for all the MMOs to be good. Because they will keep fighting, and X guy will get the good systems from the Y game they will get the good system from the Z game, and they will end up getting better projects for you and me. But the problem is that was not the case, was it? Now, people have to just get fanaticized. And I blame this on the media, okay? In the media, you're either ex-supporter or ex-hater. You cannot be just I don't give a fuck, just give me something good. You know? I blame this thing on the media. We go into two extremities, you know? You're either a fascist or a communist. There's no in between. And you're what the fuck, you know? Just let me play the good game. Let me play the good game. That's what you want. You care about the good game. You want to play a good game. And yeah, it got all blown out of proportion. That's what I take from him. WoW players historically flamed and harassed us, 14 players. Now that the wheel turned, they're pulling the victim cards. That's sad, to be honest. I don't think so. I think that former WoW players like myself, I don't think that people talked shit about 14 players. I think people talked shit about 14 because people knew 14 as 1.0. Like, the problem and the fallacy with MMOs is if an MMO is released and it's shit, that's it. Your game is shit forever. Like, it doesn't change, right? So people were like, what, this dog shit weeb game that's broken and stuff, you know? And then they were given this opportunity to actually meet the game. And I think that he is correct, Taliesin, here, that it was old WoW players that talk shit about WoW. Because WoW players were always talking shit about WoW. And old WoW players knew WoW better than 14 Andys. Like, if you get fucked in the ass, you know how it feels. So you can tell someone, hey, you're getting fucked in the ass, when they are getting fucked in the ass, right? That was us, the WoW player base, the WoW community. We had suffered in WoW, and then we went to 14 and it was a breath of fresh air. So you were like, WoW is shit! Because you're surprised. Do you know what kind of an eye-opening experience it can be? Because you don't know what's out there unless you go out there. In which case, you just realize, how was it back in here? So when you come back in here and you don't like it, you're like, bye, right? And that's what happens. The bizarre part is they're completely different games. Maybe back in ARR, a direct comparison made sense. They both fall under the MMORPG category. People want to prove that their PP is bigger because their MMO is bigger, which I find stupid. I hope that companies don't really try to cater to that type of a player base, because that type of the player base want to be miserable. They want to be toxic. They want to be mad. Okay? Have you ever you have, like, my audience is mature enough. You guys ever talk with like a person where you show them where they are wrong and they know that they are wrong, but they do not accept it, and they just keep being wrong, and they start yelling or like they start like arguing, and then they just stop making sense, all because they do not want to accept that they are wrong. That's what happened. I didn't know about WoW in 14 much, first 2 weeks, maybe not talk about WoW till today. I made some comparisons. Because I left from one to the other, right? The problem stayed with the 24-hour news circle and journalists extremely incentivized to make people to click on their stories. True. The last time I was mad about WoW was when they put cat mount store. Cat mount? Oh, the carbuncle? Or was it something different? I don't remember. Give me a second. I need to take a piss, guys. Be right back super quick. Alright, motherfuckers, I'm back. Let's see. Alright, that being said, really care about the balance that exists between communities. I do hate that we are the victims here. Some content creators try to put... Oh, come on. Content creators try to do whatever they try to... Like, unfortunately, it's the clickbait times. That's what it is. That's what the content creators are trying to pull. The last time I was mad about what was the... Yeah, okay. Speaking of the rage, it was bizarre how far content creators would go to bait the community and then essentially cry bully when they got response. It's a cross catch 22. It is, people love drama. They gave people drama. They clickbaited people drama. And when people felt clickbaited, they stopped watching that specific drama because a new drama was out. Some content creators got bigger. Some content creators had their careers destroyed.
Throwing at WoW in the name of Final Fantasy XIV, it got a little bit deranged. Do you remember that time when Zereth Mortis came out and there were these memes going around of all the things that WoW was copying from Final Fantasy XIV, and it was the weakest fucking shit, the biggest fucking stretches.
Yeah, because it is a massive stretch to think that World of Warcraft could successfully copy from Final Fantasy XIV, right? That's a stretch. Like, it is as if saying that I will try to copy Amanda's voice, you know, the singer, right? Amanda Aiken, how you pronounce that? I can't pronounce that. Yeah, it won't happen. You can't copy that.
They were comparing that zone with the floating fucking castle in Endwalker
And
to
Bastion.
fucking Bastion and shit like that. And it's like, holy shit, man. So sad. Yeah, it was really, really, really bad. And it was WoW refugees that were doing that. It was not old school Final Fantasy 14 players by any means, because old school Final Fantasy 14 players got very used to keeping their fucking heads down, honestly.
Old school Final Fantasy 14 players kind of don't exist because most of them quit and didn't play 1.0 ever, right? Because it was dog shit. But why would they care about World of Warcraft when they had fun, like in the game? Like if they have been through the bad shit and through the good shit, why would they give a crap about what happened? You know?
You know, like if I ever talked about Final Fantasy 14, people would just like shout me down, tell me how shit it was and how no one played it, etc. Right? So yeah, I find that a bit silly. But so yeah, all of these things.
Yeah, I'm thinking either like I want to say Ultima Thule. Is my brain and I think he means the zone of Ultima Thule with the end with End Singer. I don't think it's Pandemonium.
Have gone to create an environment where basically not many people are playing WoW right now. And the thing is, the change in WoW happened during Shadowlands. Famously, well, not famously actually, I guess it's not that well known because so many people stopped playing in 9.1 perfectly reasonably, if you ask me. I think I wouldn't be surprised if 9.1 saw the for a patch in WoW, and I include like opening patches in that. Well, I don't include opening patches in that obviously because the drop off in opening patches is huge. But I think for a patch, I think 9.1 must have seen the biggest drop off in subs ever. That's really sad, but understandable. And you know, like that has an effect. It affects Shadowlands, but even more so, it's always going to affect the...
I think that Dragonflight right now is doing worse than Shadowlands was doing back then. Because people... You see, when you hate something, you are still invested at it. People don't hate Dragonflight. People don't love Dragonflight. People just don't give a shit. And that's the worst part. Indifference.
The expansion after. And Dragonflight is paying the price for Shadowlands' mistakes, unfortunately. It's
and
a shame,
DFAs,
but it is what
and Legions, and World of Draenors.
it is. And so all WoW can do at the moment, honestly, is what they're doing. That's all WoW can do. All WoW can do is make a banging fucking game. Check, they have. Which retains players. Player retention in Dragonflight, fantastic. Like, off the chart.
No, not true.
People, when they play this game, they stick playing it.
No, they don't. All of my friends have quit. What the fuck are you talking about? The numbers are down. Like, all the Warcraft logs are going categorical. Like, it's abysmal. Sorry, guys, but, like, this is just not true. Go check the Warcraft logs. That's right. Go check Mythic Plus. Go check even the viewership on Twitch when it comes to MDIs and stuff. Fuck, I ate cat hair. Okay.
Because WoW are doing it right. They're giving us loads of content. Huge patch cadence. Like, the ethos and the philosophy of it is all, like, spot on. It's a great game. It's a really good game. No. And that's all they can do. What else can they do? They're spending money.
Like, it's better than Shadowlands. I mean, it could have been difficult to be worse, right? But it's better than Shadowlands. But it's not... What? The clear rates are among the lowest ever. Even this guy, it's not that he shields. He's. I don't want to say he's lying, right? But I don't think he's lying maliciously. I think he's lying because he's high on hopium, right? People don't give a crap about Dragonflight. The selling point of Dragonflight Mythic Plus and the best part about Dragonflight Mythic Plus are the dungeons that have existed in previous expansions, like Halls of Valor, for example, or Freehold, or Court of Stars. What?
They're making content. It's good content. They've got it on a really good conveyor belt right now. But
he's like on he's on copium like Asmon with New World and Ashes of Creation. I mean, New World is improving. Say what you will about New World. It has gotten better. Like, I can't play the game. I don't like how, like, I've tried to watch a few streams. I've watched a few streams. Not whole stream, but like, you know, a streamer here, a streamer there, big streamer, small streamer. I wanted to see like how the gameplay works. To me, it looks like Guild Wars. It doesn't, okay? As for Ashes of Creation, I don't think that Asmongold gives a fuck about Ashes of Creation. He just farms the drama, right? I think the Riot MMO is going to be much better than Ashes of Creation is, to be honest. Yeah, now returning 2 more old ones.
But yeah, obviously the community is much, much smaller than it's probably ever been. That's the thing, right? The WoW community, the retail community, probably the classic community as well, is smaller than it's probably ever been. My shard is super lively.
No, the classic community is huge. The classic, like, we have queues. If I start WoW right now, guys, to show you, which I actually will right now, right? I'm gonna click on play. It's massive, like the resurgence. Everything used to be on low. Everything is now on medium. Underworld, Freehold, and Vortex Panel. Yes, Vortex Panel, fuck that shit. But Underworld and Freehold, abso-fucking-lutely, right? Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, Underworld, people loved Underworld. People loved Freehold. That was the favorite dungeon of the people back then, right? At least BFA-wise. Let me show you, okay? Like, these are the servers, okay? My server is now medium, okay? My server, there are full servers here. Okay, that's a PvP cluster. This one that is full, this is the hardcore server. People here are playing only hardcore. Okay, that's it. That's the HE. Like the auction house is empty. I used to have characters here. I think I deleted them, right? Because or like I have them in Wrath of the Lich King, Hydrax, and Water Lords or something, right? People are coming back. Look, the normal cluster is getting back. It's in medium. It was in low when I started. The classic is it's popping off. It's Dragonflight at its serious.
Look, if I log into Corthia, if I log into Valdrakken right now, we will see a lot of people around here.
If he logs into Valdrakken right now, it will be him and 10 more people.
Yeah. There'll be a ton of people 20. In Valdrakken right now. I'm on a busy
20.
server, you know. A huge, like, Valdrakken cannot fit a whole server's worth of people.
Okay.
In the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The center of Valdrakken. There's actually
11,
not that many people here, but you know,
12, 13,
a healthy
14,
amount of people, plenty of people.
15, 16,
and you know, as the day
17,
goes on,
18,
more
19,
people appearing all the time. Here we go.
20.
But you know, there's loads of people around here.
Yeah.
And you know, the fact is, a server can feel very busy with a fraction of the amount of people on that server actually being online. And Argent Dawn has multiple Valdrakken shards. Yeah, so basically Valdrakken's always going to be full. But that's still good. I mean, you know, you can only fill it with what's there. And like, how many subs does WoW have nowadays? No one knows. But I
don't know what's more sad, the fact that there are so few people in the main capital, or the fact that there are any people in the WoW capital. Because if the game is good, shouldn't these motherfuckers be out there in the world, right? But at the same time, if you can do an 180, you can pull an 180 on me here, right? And tell me if the game is good, shouldn't it be like everybody in here socializing and talking about stuff? Kind of like Limsa, right? This is not a ton of people at Taliesin.
I think estimates are around 1 million, which compared to other MMOs is still fucking brilliant.
It is.
You know, any other MMO would like bite your hand off for that, but WoW,
are they socializing? We don't do that in Blizzard. We don't do that in World of Warcraft. No, we don't. We don't really socialize. Teleport to ARR city state for comparison. There is not even a comparison on ARR on Limsa. I had to lower the amount of people that I am able to see because my old PC could not handle all those many people doing stuff. You know how like you can lower how many people you can see and it lowers the clutter, right? I still have it on low. If I put it on high, I don't even know who I'm going to be able to see. One thing to the detriment of WoW is the sharding. 10 people in your area, there's too many. Shift 5 of them to another instance. Yes. Which is why it's not really an MMORPG. Yeah, I had to use minimum back in the day. I did, me too, right?
Obviously, that's very bad. And you can see it. You can see it in the views on content and stuff as well, like our views and Bell's views and stuff like that. Our YouTube videos are getting the same kind of views that 14 videos get, which sucks. Is
that a jab?
But it's just
was that a jab, dude? Wanna fight, man? Right? Huh? Was that a jab? But no, like you know what he's talking about, right? Because Final Fantasy XIV is still not that massive. My new rig even has a hard time with anything above normal for player drawing. Really?
What it is. It's just where the community is right now. And WoW are doing what they have to do. WoW are doing the right thing right now. They are making a good game. And they're making a really good game.
And
that's all they can do. All they can do is put out a fucking good game.
What is good about Dragonflight?
When players do kind of trickle back, because they will, everyone gets that WoW itch from time to time.
Yes.
And the good thing is,
they're playing Classic right now, yeah.
Is just about everyone who isn't playing the game at the moment. I guess we're clutching at straws a little bit here, but most of the people who aren't playing the game right now, because they gave up in 9.1 or whenever, I feel like most people know the game is good. I think most people are aware that people genuinely like WoW right now.
Why?
And that Dragonflight is a good expansion.
No, what?
Tally, don't you think the end of the pandemic has a significant effect on that? No, I don't think so, no. Like, I think most people who aren't playing the game, even if they're not playing the game, even if they have no desire to come back to the game right now, most of them know, or the community is really happy with Dragonflight.
Why would they be happy with something and choose not to play that specific something? I'm sorry, like, I don't follow the logic. If you quit the game, it means that the game is not good enough to be worthy of your attention or your time or your money or both.
So, we'll see. All WoW can do is
I'm not winning at you, it's my cat. It's my kid.
Putting out the fucking content. And, I'm loving WoW right now. Oh, man. And I love making content for WoW right now. It's just so good. It feels really great.
Bro, you are huffing more hopium than Asmongold when he thinks he has hair.
And if we're making a bit less money, then so be it. I think a lot of people are still going to be stuck on the bad feeling they had if they left in 9.1. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's perfectly reasonable, honestly. Like I say, there is still time. There's still time for 9.1 to go down as the patch that killed WoW. Because it's not guaranteed that WoW is going to survive this. If we get to the end of 9.1,
WoW is going to survive this. WoW will always survive this. World of Warcraft will never actually properly die. The servers will be preserved, even if they are preserved like 11 is right now. But they won't. They will go the sub-to-play market, but they will have like, like those types of battle passes and whatevers. It's not going to die, okay? I can guarantee you that. I'm not saying it's gonna be good, but it's not going to die. Maybe it will become a phone game, but it's not going to die. I think good is coming from a better expansion compared to the last 7 expansions being shitter than the previous. It will become a legacy game like RuneScape or MapleStory or even Lineage 2. Yeah, but with more pay-to-win elements because of the WoW token, right? So think of a pay-to-win game that is still alive, not... I don't know how pay-to-win RuneScape, MapleStory, or Lineage 2 are. Oh yeah, Lineage 2 is pay-to-win as a motherfucker, so yeah, yes.
Sorry, if we get to the end of Dragonflight, and, there's no doubt that Blizz have pushed the boat out on Dragonflight. There's no doubt that they have hired like 100 new devs. They are pumping that content. But if they get...
Well, given how the previous devs were either molested or molesters, I can understand why they would need to be replaced.
To the end of this expansion, they're like, well, you know what? The numbers haven't recovered as much as we'd hoped. And it's maintenance mode for you. Yeah. It could happen. And if that happens, then it won't be Dragonflight's fault. It'll be 9.1's fault. It makes Blizz the most money out of their games. Oh, yeah, sure, but they might feel like they could make as much money out of the game without putting as much into it.
True.
They're like, okay, so at the moment, all our money is coming from services and store and stuff like that. And,
Yep.
you know,
You know you want your baby Murloc, don't you? Ah, this adorable little backpack. Yep, you better pay, bro. You better pay.
an ever decreasing amount of our money is actually coming from subs. So why the fuck do we need to retain subs? Like, our best business option here is to cut 200 devs and just focus on those whales.
Yep.
You know, which is what a lot of other games do. 99% of MMOs exist on a very small handful of whales.
Yes, but like arguably 99% of the MMOs nobody knows how to name because they're dog shit, right? So it's the 1% that we're gonna be aspiring towards or no, because all of the others are running in a negative.
Which WoW doesn't have to do, but they might decide that's best from a bottom line point of view. They might be, because they don't give a fuck. Whoever's looking at the spreadsheets and making these decisions high up in Activision, right? They don't give a fuck about the community. All they care about is maximum return for their investors in 1 year, not even long term. So it's quite feasible that WoW could, you know, change dramatically in the resources that are put into it. So we just got to hope that that doesn't happen. We just got to hope that players do come back to the game and enjoy this really, really good expansion, because it is a really good expansion. Do you feel hopeful for the future of WoW?
No.
It's hard not to feel hopeful for the future of WoW.
Hey,
when it,
no, he makes. I mean, it can't get any worse, can it? No, you know what? I was memeing about this with Diablo 4, right? What were like the starting the video right there? You know, abandon all hope. I don't know if I can find it right there. You know, it was like when it was advertising Diablo 4. It was like abandon all hope. Welcome to hell. This is World of Warcraft right now. Didn't Blizzard fire a lot of WoW developers today, yesterday? I wouldn't know. Like they tend to do that far too often for me to really bother. I didn't check it out. Maybe they did. I need to check out Billy's video. Maybe it's about that.
is still the most successful MMO.
It is.
And is also...
Is WoW the most successful MMO? Who judges that? Is it because of the money it makes? Is it because of the players it has? Or does player descent count? Right? Is World of Warcraft the most successful MMO? That's a legitimate question. I could see WoW Classic being. People love playing Classic. Like, people that play Classic, play Classic. I'd say the most successful in its entire lifespan, perhaps. Ready today somewhere. I'll try to get a link. Okay. Don't post it in the chat. Post it on Discord, or maybe DM it to Billy for him to post it, because otherwise you will be timed out by Nightbot. Nightbot doesn't like links. Either WoW or RuneScape. I'm being eaten by the cat. Okay.
Really, really good. That's the thing that gives me genuine hope for WoW. Is that it's really good.
Why?
If there is hope right now, it's the best sort of hope, which is the fact that
Taliesin, you're making me angry. Why? Why? You haven't given me a single reason why it's good.
Dragonflight is an absolute, genuine, stone cold banger, in my opinion. And I think there's a lot of hope to take from that. You know, I'm confident. You know, people
You're high on
ask
hope,
me
yeah.
on the stream a lot, like, should I come back for Dragonflight? Should I come back and play Dragonflight? Is it worth it?
No.
When people used to say that to me in BFA and Shadowlands, particularly obviously in Shadowlands, I was like, what can I say, man? I'm playing, you know, it's better in these ways. This is a problem with it at the moment. It's going to be very much like a personal opinion sort of thing. Dragonflight is the first expansion since that I can honestly and without irony and without doubt go, I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is worth coming back for Dragonflight. Like, I would be very surprised if someone came back to Dragonflight and did not enjoy it.
Let's think about it. How much does Dragonflight cost? WoW Dragonflight expansion cost. Like, let's see how much it costs. Yeah, he hasn't given us a single why. Okay, so like you need to pay $50, okay? So $50 for the base edition plus the subscription, okay? So you have like $63 or 65. Is it like $15? I don't know how it's in the United States, okay? Let's go $65 or like $70, okay? 65 to $70. Why would you pay $65 to play a game for a month? Like, you can't even do all the things that you can do in World of Warcraft Dragonflight in 1 month. You would have to pay more. Like, you would have to pay probably around 3 months, 4 months to do everything in the expansion. So we're talking about the price of 60, it was 65 already. Let's add 30, around $100. Why would you pay $100 when you can save yourself $100 and buy something else? Why would you pay why pay $50 for the game? I don't see it personally. And we haven't even gotten like a single reason as to why it's good. That's the problem I have right here with this specific video, right? Because Taliesin he's spitting facts. Like, okay, like with some things, with a lot of his things I disagree, right? But my only comment and my only issue with this video is the lack of explanation. Whenever I tell you guys X is good or X is bad, I feel the need to add why, right? I don't get it.
Whereas I could absolutely understand if someone didn't enjoy Shadowlands and BFA. Because, and also, like, the vibe in the community is really, really good.
I mean, the community is dead, the vibe's dead.
I hate to say this. But the vibe in the WoW community has been really good ever since a load of people left for Final Fantasy XIV. And, you know, maybe you'll never ever come back to the game ever in your entire life.
Yeah, the shitters left.
But maybe one day, and, you know,
14,
no
true.
loss, really. It's just a video game at the end of the day. But maybe you'll wake up one day and you'll have that little itch. And you'll just be like, I just fancy logging into WoW, right? Yeah. I just fucking...
So we were the problem. No, it's not... look, just because X group of people left for 14 doesn't mean that all of them were the shitters. It is true. A lot of the shitters have quit WoW because, let's not kid ourselves, there are those people that want to be on the best MMO, on the mainstream MMO. You know, they want to be the big shots, right? So when the game tanks, and you see this with on streamers as well, with viewer Andys, right? Oh, look, this streamer has like 50,000 views. Oh, he's such a good streamer. Yeah, I want to be a part of this. And then the next stream, he's like on 40,000 views. Oh, dying streamer, bye. And he leaves, right? Parasites like this exist in the game. During the Exodus, a lot of the dogshit people, like, when I say dogshit, I'm not talking about being dogshit at the game. I mean being toxic in the brain, which is far worse, right? The reason why is that he has a mega bottle of copium under his desk. I could see that. I could see that being the reason why he likes Dragonflight, to be honest. It doesn't... Do you know that if you want to make a solo arena queue, which was the high point of the PvP in Dragonflight, you have to wait for 45 minutes at 3k rating? Like, Hollow, one of my best friends, he was trying to get his legend title. He's rank 1. He has 3k rating or however the fuck, right? And he has 52 wins. He needs 48 more, yeah? And in order to get the title, and he just can't be fucked. Because you have to wait for 45 minutes to play 6 rounds of arena. At the same time, there are no new battlegrounds. There's just like, what is going on? Where is the content? Like, why are we praising Dragonflight? I understand why we're not talking shit about Dragonflight, but why are we praising it? Next month they're going to invent solo queue Mythic Plus with randos that are the same score. I don't know what they will invent. If they invent a way to start just doing anything good, maybe I'll give it a try. I have bought Dragonflight. In retrospect, maybe I haven't. I shouldn't have. But then again, I wouldn't have a take on the matter right now.
Fancy it. And it's much nicer to have a really cool expansion like Dragonflight to log into in that situation, you know? So...
If it is so cool, why is no one logged in?
And that's how WoW are going to get their players back, is by just making sure the game is good.
That's true.
And so when those people do cautiously stick their head around the door, when they do very cautiously dip their toe back in the water, what they find is a game that is much, much better than the one they left.
Some waters are swamps. And if you step into the swamp, you get sucked into the swamp and you die. So it's not always good water.
That's all that WoW can do. And they're doing it. So that's where my hope is, yeah. So I am hopeful. But I'm also a realist. I'm also
You're not.
I'm also not stupid. I can also see that the game is, you know, in other ways that aren't connected to the quality of the game.
Fucking dead.
In the doldrums, yeah, for sure. I don't think anyone would tell you otherwise. Certainly not from a content creator point of view. I think most content creators would happily just turn around to you right now and go, "Oh yeah, WoW views are down the fucking pan."
Yep.
It is what it is. It won't affect me. I'll keep making my WoW content. If I have to get another job as well, so be it. You know, I had a job when I started making WoW content. I've been lucky enough to make WoW content for the last 6 years professionally. If I end up having to do something else, is what it is. You know? To be fair, creators made hate videos that got a lot of views for Shadowlands. Yeah, I feel like creators did kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit with that.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me. I like to think that looking back on Shadowlands, I'm quite proud of the relatively level head that I kept compared to some other creators.
You were high on hopium, but I enjoyed seeing someone that could at least try to be positive about a few things about Shadowlands. Like, everybody was like, "Oh, WoW is so bad." He goes, "Why don't you fucking quit then?" Right? And arguably I did. And I stopped watching WoW content. But up until the point I did, this guy was trying to keep it optimistic, right?
Some other people will say that was a fault of mine at the time, but I look back on it. I look back on our BFA and Shadowlands content, and I'm actually quite proud of it. I'm proud of how we didn't churn out hate shit. And the game's really good. The game's great, so I would recommend you come back. Having said that, I don't fucking play it on stream, do I? So how would you know?
Fellas, okay? The one thing that you will get from this part of the stream, from this video, is that not a single argument was given about why World of Warcraft Dragonflight is a good MMO. Or is a good expansion. It's not shit, but not a single argument was given about why it's good. I had a few things I enjoyed. Personally, I like the dragon riding system. Personally, I felt the need to just go out and explore. The urge, the desire to go out there, get my fucking dragon, soar through the skies. And then, there were moments where my dragon would just stop and it would just start slowly falling. Didn't really make much sense to me. It felt kind of lame, to be honest. But I like the races. It was fun. It was hyping, right? I like some secondary quests like Lilistraza's. I didn't like the gift farming, but we're sticking to the things I liked. I kinda liked Ruby life pools. I like the fact that I could just do PvP and get best in slot in gear by doing PvP and never do PvE and have the BAS gear. I like that one. I like World's PvP coming back. It was refreshing, especially coming from Shadowlands. That was not the thing. The balancing of the World PvP was terrible, but we're talking about things that we liked. So yeah, this is what the positive things I have to say. My spec felt shit. Like, Feral felt kind of worse than it did back in Shadowlands. It felt more simplified, at least from a PvP perspective, right? This is what I liked. I don't know. Why no one is playing Dragonflight? Why is no one playing WoW retail right now? Maybe it's because it's dog shit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say for here.